Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnana-Janasya Satchimandarena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So I want to thank all the devotees for coming to the program. And I want to thank Sadhupriya and Amrish Maharaj and the Moscow devotees for organizing that. Initially, devotees for the last several years requested me to have the Vyasa Puja in Moscow. Somewhere in Russia. But I was always hesitant. And then this year, we agreed, and then I thought it may not be practical. But Amrish Maharaj has insisted. He said, they've already purchased their tickets. So finally, I had to surrender. It's a little difficult for me because normally I come back from my American and Canadian tour in the beginning of August. And then I had to go to India and come right back. So I'm very happy to be here. Janmashtami, as you probably know, is a big event in India. And Janmashtami, we had 100,000 or nearly 500,000 visitors at the big temple. We had a big celebration even in Moscow on Janmashtami. Speaking to countless visitors, I almost lost my voice. The best of my voice is a lot subdued. So it's a great pleasure to meet all of you. Russia is a huge country. And it's not easy to travel to every corner of your country. So I'm happy that all of you were able to come here. The important point is that we make spiritual progress. This morning I was reading about Prabhupada coming to your country. In 1971, Prabhupada wrote to a devotee in Germany, I want to go to the Soviet Union. And an invitation was arranged by Srila Prabhupada came to your country in 72?
71.
71. So at this point, Prabhupada had established Krishna consciousness in America and Canada, in Europe and in India. And now he was taking other Soviet Union in Eastern Europe. Prabhupada had very high regards for Russian and Soviet people. He knew they were very intelligent. So Prabhupada finally came to your country. He met the late Dr. Kshetrosky. And Prabhupada pointed out the definition of spiritual communism. Soviet Union believed in communism. And Prabhupada explained that the Vedas advocate spiritual communism. Nevertheless, Prabhupada planted the seed of Krishna consciousness during his 5-day visit. Prabhupada stayed at the National Hotel at Kremlin, right?
Yes.
It was a small room. Prabhupada was accompanied by two of his American secretaries, Shyam Sundar and Armanendra. Those days it was very difficult to get fruits and vegetarian food. So the devotees had to struggle to go from shop to shop to find fruits and milk products. But devotees continued, persisted. And they met one Russian devotee, who spoke English and was very good in was interested in yoga. Shyam Sundar met that devotee, met Anatoly on the streets of Moscow. And Shyam Sundar discovered Anatoly was interested in yoga. My girl is a yoga teacher, why don't you come and meet her? Prabhupada inspired him, taking the path of Bhakti Yoga instantly. And in 3 days, Prabhupada trained him up in all aspects of Krishna consciousness. Taught him how to wear a dhoti, taught him how to chant 16 rounds, taught him the basic elements of Krishna consciousness. And even initiated him, and even arranged for his marriage. And then Prabhupada left the country. And it all started preaching. And devotees started coming into the country. I had the privilege of first coming to the country in May 76, before many of you were born. That was that. So, at that time we placed Prabhupada books in the library of Moscow and St. Petersburg. It was known as Leningrad at that time. Then we came again in 67 and 77 and took part in the World Book Fair. We were accompanied by two devotees, the late Pitu Prabhu and Bhugarva Prabhu. And the great interest was shown in Prabhupada's books, and they saw it in book fair. In fact, the Bhakti of the Book Trust, Bombay, received a certificate from the Russian government saying, the books promote peace and harmony. Prabhupada was very pleased to receive that certificate. And in 1977, the last few months of Prabhupada's stay on the planet, he was showing that certificate to everyone. See, the appreciation we got from Solitude. Unfortunately, that certificate got mislaid. So Krishna consciousness began to expand. Recently, a book has been published. Vijnanath Maharaja published a book, one of my disciples, 50 years of Krishna consciousness in the Soviet. Establishing Krishna consciousness in this country was not easy. There were a lot of restrictions, but devotees were determined. Some of them had to sacrifice their lives. But in the end, the mission was served. The Russians appreciate philosophy, and the devotees are enthusiastic. So Prabhupada gave us the pure passage, pure process of purification. So those, all of us sitting here, are here because we have got connected to Srila Prabhupada's movement. Prabhupada gave us the pure message of happiness. He did not concoct anything. As you know, we recently celebrated the Golden Jubilee of Prabhupada sailing from India. The Golden Jubilee of Prabhupada incorporating ISKCON in New York and opening the first temple on 2nd Avenue. And this year we celebrated the Golden Jubilee of the first Rath Yatra that was held by Prabhupada in San Francisco. As you Moscowites may know, we had a wonderful Rath Yatra in Moscow 3 weeks ago. Amrishwanath tells me more than 100,000 people came for the Rath Yatra. The Prabhupada gave us everything that is adaptable universally. Krishna consciousness is universal philosophy, chanting the holy name. What's sectarian about it? The Lord incarnates in the holy name, seen all over the world. People easily adapt to the holy name. You go to Africa or any part of the country, people easily adapt to the holy name. Our real goal is to get attached to the holy name. On the occasion of Vyasa Puja, we glorify the Guru. And many times the glorification is exaggerated. Now what does the Guru talk about? What does the Guru preach? Glorify Kṛṣṇa, not to glorify the Guru. Guru says, chant Hare Krishna. This is the Mahamantra. Get attached to the holy name. What does the holy name talk about? Glorification of Krishna and Ram. So through the chant, we glorify the Lord and cleanse our heart of the material dirt that has accumulated there. Then the Guru says, study Prabhupada's books. What is in these books? Nothing but Krishna's philosophy and pastime. So the genuine Guru, he doesn't glorify himself, but he really glorifies Krishna. The genuine Guru instructs everyone, glorify Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada was a classic example of a genuine Guru. He never told us to glorify him. He always kept Krishna in the forefront of the movement. People all over the world know ISKCON as the Hare Krishna movement, not as Srila Prabhupada's movement. But Prabhupada kept Krishna in the forefront. So Prabhupada's successors who are presenting the philosophy that Prabhupada and the Acharyas gave us are in the same mood. So the genuine Guru, when he gets some honor, when he accepts it on behalf of the predecessor Acharya, he never thinks that he's a doer. Whenever we gave credit to Prabhupada for what he has done, he would say, I've done nothing with my Guru's murti. He said, I always had faith in the word of my Guru. So, the real Guru's business is encourage us get attached to Krishna. In the third canto, you read about Kapila Dev's instructions. Lord Kapila Dev was questioned by his mother Devahuti. She said, "My dear son, please tell me, how can I become free from the miseries of birth and death?" She knew her son was the incarnation of God. So the son said, "Get attached to the transcendentalist. In material life, we are attached to each other. But these attachments always end up in distress. Whereas if you're attached to a transcendentalist, you're going to get spiritual message. And by following that spiritual message, you make advancement." So the genuine Guru's business is to be a servant of the previous Acharya and all the previous Acharyas. The Guru doesn't claim proprietorship over anything. If Krishna gives devotees, disciples, they're all engaged in service of the Supreme Lord. If Krishna gives wealth, it's all used in service of glorifying the Lord. This is an example that Prabhupada gave us by his dealings. As Chaitanya Charan was like, Maharaj, Prabhupada was explaining, Vyasa Puja essentially is a day where you glorify the Guru who gives you the pure message of Vyasa Puja. But it should be recognized that the real glorification is always of the Supreme Lord. So how do we please the Guru? Doesn't matter who you're initiated by in ISKCON. All Gurus are giving the same message. The Guru is pleased when he sees the disciple getting attached to the holy name. So that is our ultimate goal. Our goal is not to get some big position in ISKCON. Our goal is to get attached to the holy name. You get attached to the Siddhanta that's so nicely explained in Prabhupada's book. To develop the mood of humility, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we want to chant the holy name and cultivate the mood of humility. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just said 6 items and that constitute surrender to Krishna in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the 6th principle, he said, is humility. So what does humility in spiritual life mean? Just speaking softly, Prabhuji, tell me what can I do? Offering money and offering a dhanavats to everyone. That's also important. But what's more important is recognizing, I need direction, I need correction, I need guidance. We must recognize that we need guidance. Therefore, we should always be in the association of devotees. If you remain in the association of devotees, there's a good chance that if you're deviating, you'll get corrected. That's why sadhu sangha is highly emphasized. Stay in the association. Prabhupada gave us a guideline. He said, we should be like the bee and not the fly. The fly is attracted to dirt. The fly to a clean environment. So, look at the good in everyone. Prabhupada created this nice society which has branches worshipping in every corner of the globe. Today there are more than 600 branches all over the world. And Prabhupada has shown us that this Vedic message is transcendental and universally acceptable. So my earnest request is please take to Krishna consciousness seriously. The illusory energy is always trying to bewilder us. As Krishna says, Devesha Gunamaya Mahamaya Durate. This illusory energy is very difficult. When we surrender to me, time and time, wait for a moment. So please take a Krishna consciousness seriously. As Srila Gopāl says, a million laws cannot be made up with the wealth of the entire world. So with the tongue, we should get attached to chanting the holy names. With the ears, to hear the glories of the Lord. With the mind, to think about the Lord's instructions. And we should remain connected to ISKCON temple or community of devotees. Technology has a plus point and a minus point. Just like you have these smartphones now. How many of you have smartphones? Zero. Those who are smart, they have proper books on their smartphone. And whenever they have a chance, read the Bhagavatam, Gita, and those that are not spiritually inclined have garbage and kind of. So we have to endeavor. Nothing comes without endeavor. Rupa Goswami advises on the devotional path, we should be enthusiastic. Why should we not be enthusiastic? Who are you serving? Who? The greatest personality. Once in a village in India, there was a man who desired, I must serve the most important man in town. So he started in a survey. Who is the most important man in town? He found there was a grocery store owner. Anyone came and saluted him. So he asked that big man, can I become your servant? You look to be the most important man in this village. He said, of course you can be my servant. He became his servant. But then he saw this big man also salute somebody else. There used to be a tax collector that would come regularly, and the big man would salute him. So he concluded this tax collector must be more important than that store owner. So he asked the tax collector, can I become your servant? One called Kṛṣṇa. He became his secretary. But then he saw the tax collector also goes to the king. He saw the tax collector goes, salutes the king, bows down to the king and says, what can I do for you? So he concluded the king must be more important than the tax collector. He asked the king, can I be your servant? You look to be the most important man here. He said, welcome. But then he saw the king also salutes to somebody else. That was a sadhu. There was a sadhu in town. And the king would regularly go and offer worship. So he concluded, the sadhu was more important than the king, because the king goes and bows down to him. So he asked the sadhu, can I be your servant? You look to be more important than the king. Sadhu said, Kṛṣṇa. He became the servant of the sadhu. And then he saw the sadhu also goes and bows down to someone. Who is the sadhu bowing? The deity of Kṛṣṇa. He said, I should serve Kṛṣṇa with everyone surrenders and bows down to him. So he became a devotee of Kṛṣṇa. So Kṛṣṇa is the most important personality. So we should engage in service enthusiastically. And we should be convinced about success. We have so many wonderful pieces of literature that Srila Prabhupada gave us. We should make it a point to regularly read these books. So our request is, please take your Krishna consciousness seriously. We all have an eternal debt to Srila Prabhupada. Had it not been for Prabhupada, we would not have been having this get-together today. Prabhupada took the pure message and united everyone. When Prabhupada was a young child, his father had an astrologer do his chart. And the astrologer said, this man will one day build a house where the whole world can live. So he built that house up at the age of 70. So Prabhupada built a house which the whole world can live. So let us work together to make the house strong. Our first priority should be Krishna's service. What pleases Krishna, not what pleases me. Normally we think, what pleases me is good for Krishna and good for everyone. My happiness is Krishna's happiness. That is the materialistic logic. Our logic is the opposite. What pleases Krishna pleases us. That should be our mentality. So we hope that all of you will benefit and from this get-together, we be determined to practice Krishna consciousness and spread the message of the Lord everywhere. People all over the world are waiting. When will a Hare Krishna devotee come and give me this pure message? So we'll take on some questions now. And as you heard, there'll be an evening session starting what time? And I'll give a small talk in the evening lecture. And those of you who want darshans should see Amrish Maharaj. And I'm taking some questions now. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.